Alright, so I finally saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know why I said finally, because I've already seen it twice. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Did I say Into the Spider-Verse or did I say Across the Spider-Verse? I guess we'll find out. But I saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And it's a pretty solid movie. I really like the animation, of course. I really like the story they got going on here for Miles Morales and Spider Gwen or Spider Woman. The fuck is that? Anyway, Spider Gwen was probably she kind of is one of the main characters. She's probably like it probably goes Miles Morales and then Spider Woman, Spider Gwen, whatever the hell her name is. But this movie was pretty good. It's hard to say who the villain really was. I mean, obviously it's Spot, but is Miguel O'Hara kind of a villain too? I don't know. He did kind of go against Miles, and Miles is the hero of this story, kind of. I mean, they're all Spider-Man. So... Are they all bad? I don't know. I don't know. Like, because it makes you wonder. Has Spider-Man been the bad guy the entire time? But maybe not. Maybe that's just the price you pay being Spider-Man, and Miles Morales can't accept that. Meaning, okay, so spoilers. I forgot to say at the very beginning. Spoilers. There's gonna be spoilers for this. It's been prophesized that uh, Miles Morales' dad is gonna die in the next one by Spot. He's gonna try and save a kid, and I think he's gonna die. But it's because Spot did it. I was a little bit confused at first with Spot's backstory. Because the first time I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is kind of confusing. Because apparently that guy in the first movie, in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, when uh, Miles gets that bagel and he throws it at that guy and it hits him in the face, that's actually Spot. And uh, people are saying the bagel intertwined their fates. And it took me a while to get what people were saying, meaning Spot made Miles as Spider-Man and Miles made Spot as Spot. So I'm gonna try and figure that out real quick. So he was working on the collider and Into the Spider-Verse. I guess they had multiple earthquakes because the only earthquakes I can remember from Into the Spider-Verse, they were saying earthquakes because they didn't know what was really going on with the collider. The collider was bringing people, you know, to that dimension, but they didn't know what it was, so they called it earthquakes. But the only earthquakes I can remember was only like twice. Once for Spider Gwen because she got there early. She had to have because she was already there whenever Miles wasn't even Spider-Man yet. At least I don't think. Was she? I'm trying to remember the movie in my head. Yeah. She was there before Miles got bit by the spider. So she got there early. So that's one earthquake. And then there was another earthquake that brought everyone there, meaning Spider Nord, Spider Pig, Penny Parker. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. But yeah, there was two earthquakes. So there must have been a third one, or at least maybe it was the same one. As maybe the spider came with Spider Woman. Maybe. Because no. Maybe because the spider bit Miles after Gwen got there because Gwen was already there, and then the spider bit Miles. So maybe the first one was Spider Gwen, second one was the spider that came to Miles' universe, and then the third quake brought everyone. But anyway, I'm going off track. But anyway, so the spider came because the guy that got bit with the that got bit with the bagel. I almost said bit with the bagel, but the guy that got hit with the bagel and Into the Spider-Verse, he was the one that was working on the collider, and the spider from the Earth 42 universe was supposed to bite that Miles in that universe. So Miles was always supposed to be Spider-Man. But I think they switched places because of Spot. Because the spider came, it was about to come and bite Earth 42 Miles, but then it got sucked into our Miles' universe, and then it bit him, and he became Spider-Man. So the Miles on Earth 42 was supposed to be Spider-Man, because that's where that spider belongs in. So he was supposed to be Spider-Man, but he became Prowler. So I think that's what Miles was going to be in his regular universe. Or maybe he wasn't going to be anyone at all, but more than likely he was probably going to be Prowler, because he looked up to Aaron, his Uncle Aaron. So he probably was going to become the Prowler, not Spider-Man. Yeah, and then apparently Miles made Spot because at the very end of Into the Spider-Verse, when he blew up the collider, I guess, I think he got, like, stuck in there or something, and it really messed him up. He doesn't have a face anymore. He's covered in spots. Spot kind of took a back seat, though. He was only the villain for, like, half the movie, and then he just kind of disappeared, and then he just popped up at the very end. But I get it, because, the director said that he's going to be a big part. He's going to be a big villain in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Apparently, I think so. But what's interesting to me is Spot told Miles, "I'm from your past." Does he mean what happened in the past, or does he mean, like, I am you from the past? I don't know. Interesting. Because what I think is interesting, and I won't take credit for this. I'll give credit to New Rockstars for finding this, because I'm not gonna be that way. I only take credit for ideas that I come up with. I don't take credit for ideas other people come up with. But that thing he drew in Into the Spider-Verse with the spray paint at the very beginning with Uncle Aaron, he had like that I don't know, just he had like a figure. He had Uncle Aaron trace him, like, I don't know. His body was kind of, slanted a little bit, but it kind of looks like Spot after he finally went to the Indian Spider-Verse, the Indian Spider-Verse. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. But he goes there, and then when he finally gets into the collider, he has like that same slant form. So I'm like, maybe Miles predicted Spot. It's kind of a coincidence right there. What else? Miguel O'Hara, or Spider-Man 2099. Whew, he's a badass. I love Miguel O'Hara. I love his suit. There's a shot. It's near the end when he's coming out of the portal, and other Spider-Man are coming out behind him, but he's just walking. I'm like, yo, that's a cool shot. There's a lot of Spider-Man in here. I love the PS4 Insomniac Spider-Man cameo. He's like, are you talking to me? It's crazy because he has a game coming out this year too, and I just finished playing the game. So that was kind of cool. To see that. I'm like, hey, now I understand. And if I didn't play the Spider-Man game, I probably would have been like, who the fuck is that? They even showed footage from the Spider-Man PS4 game. Also not going to take credit for this because this New Rockstars found this, but whenever he's showing all the Uncle Bens died, Andrew Garfield made an appearance, but not an actual appearance. It was just like clips from another, from his movie, The Amazing Spider-Man, when he was mourning Captain Stacy in his universe. It was only a little clip, but whenever he's looking at all the pictures of all the Uncle Bens that died, there's Spider-Man from the PS4 game mourning Uncle Ben. There's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man there, mourning Uncle Ben. I'm glad they at least gave. Man, I wish they gave Tobey a clip. They didn't really give him a clip. They gave him like a little clip. Andrew Garfield got a whole scene. It looked like he was there. It was obviously edited. It obviously looked like it was edited, because obviously it was. It's from the Amazing Spider-Man movie. He wasn't actually there. It was a clip, but they made it look like he was there. But I wish they gave that to Tobey. But you know what? I'm okay with just seeing Tobey as, that little clip. I would have been mad if they didn't show Tobey at all. I would have been like, what? You put respect on you put respect on Tobey's name. That's my boy. I grew up with Tobey, so I have a soft spot for Tobey. I love my Tobey. But I hope they come in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Donald Glover had a cameo. He was the Prowler. I wonder if he's from the MCU. Like, I wonder if he eventually became Prowler off screen in the MCU, then he just somehow got trapped there. Apparently, Spider-Punk captured Donald Glover's Prowler. That was kind of cool. That was cool to see. I was like, hey, Koi Chandra, you kind of ruined that for me because I saw his thing. He said my favorite cameo ever, and I saw Donald Glover in a little thing. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Not everyone's seen it yet. That's why I think all these reactors out there or movie review people should wait at least a week. But since they're not doing it, I'm not doing it. I'm not waiting a week to talk about this shit if they're not doing it. I usually wait until I see the movie twice to talk about it. Sometimes I'll watch it first, do a review, and say I might need a second watch. I think I did that for Guardians 3. I did it for Ant-Man 3. I went and saw Wakanda Forever 3 times. I think I saw Guardians twice. I've only seen John Wick 4 once, but that's because that was so special that I wanted to watch it again when it came out on digital. It was so special, I don't even want to watch it in theaters. I want to watch it when it comes out on digital because that's how good it is. But anyway, I'm getting off track again. So what else? There was a shit ton of Spider-Man in there, but I think this movie's pretty solid. This is a pretty solid movie. Except it's not solid at the same time. Because I remember the first time I saw this movie, which was like 2 days ago, they're having like a whole drum solo was going on, and Gwen is like recruiting all these other spider people to help Miles, I think, and like the drum solo's going off. Oh god, no! Oh shit! Did my car die? Hold on. Nope, we're good. So anyway, so the whole drum solo's going off, and Gwen is like recruiting people to help Miles, and then all of a sudden it just ends. Like I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "What? It's over? It's over?" Because I was so into it. That, like, I was so into the movie that I forgot it was part 1. And I was like, oh, actually, you know what? That actually makes sense. That actually makes sense that they ended it right here. It feels like ending the movie right in the middle of the story. Like, imagine watching, like, the Avengers. Like, the first Avengers movie. And then you're halfway through the movie and Agent Coulson dies. And then it just ends right there. Like, Nick Fury gives his speech and then it just ends. I'll be like, what? What? What the hell? That's not the end of the movie. What the hell? So, I mean, but I get it. But what I think is really interesting about this movie, I noticed this. Well, I didn't notice it. I thought about it. I like how the movie starts as, like, it's picking off of Into the Spider-Verse. It's picking up after that. So the whole, I'd say the first, like, maybe hour, maybe 50 minutes to an hour in the movie, it's like Into the Spider-Verse. And then the other half of the movie is building up to Beyond the Spider-Verse. It's getting more darker. It was getting really interesting whenever they were showing, like, the different universes where Miles went. And, like, the tension was really there. Like, the soundtrack was there. It was getting... I'm like, oh, man, I'm scared for Miles' dad. What is his name? I know his last name is Morales. Jeff Morales, that's his name. So I was getting kind of scared for Jeff. And I cried like 2 or 3 times. Miles' mom's, his speech to him, whenever she it's in the first trailer when she's like, he wants to go out into the world and do great big things. But that speech almost made me cry. And in fact, it did make me cry the first time I watched it. I was like, oh, I really hope they're good by the end. And it's so sad that that's the last thing that Miles and his mom had. That's the last interaction they had before he got stuck in Earth 42, that universe, where Uncle Aaron didn't die. Jeff Morales did. There's a different thing for it. He has a whole mural dedicated just for Jeff, which, whew, I don't know, man. I don't think Gwen's dad's gonna die because he quit being a captain, so I think he's pretty safe. Or maybe that's a canon event disrupted. Maybe because I think he's really dedicated to catching Spider-Woman in his universe, but since he found out it's his daughter, that shouldn't happen. Like, because Spider-Woman told Miles, like, Miles was like, maybe I should just tell them that I'm Spider-Man, and she was like, no, don't. It's like, maybe that was like a foreshadow, like a little hint, like maybe Spider-Woman created a canon event disruption too. Maybe that's why Miguel O'Hara was so mad at her at the end. Maybe he was not telling her why he was mad at her, really. But Jessica Drew, she was pretty cool. She reminded me of what's her name? Monica Rambeau. from WandaVision. Maybe it's because of her hair, but oh, Peter Parker, the one from Into the Spider-Verse, not the one that died, the one that has a baby. He has a baby now. MJ's in it. Peter Parker wasn't really in this movie that much, to be honest. He came more towards the end. I'd say his screen time in this was probably like maybe only 30 minutes, maybe 30 to 40 minutes, maybe. But I like how he's so calm to Miles Morales. Everyone was telling him he's a bad mentor. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. I think he's a great mentor. Maybe not at the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse, but eventually he did become, like, he progressively became a good mentor. And I think what Peter's problem is, he's trying to learn the difference between being a mentor and being a father figure. Because he looks at Miles as kind of like a son in a way, but I think he doesn't know the difference right now between what being a father is like and being what a mentor is like. Because he mentored Miles. Miles came out good. He got Mayday. That's the baby's name. He got Mayday because he wanted Mayday to be just like Miles because Miles turned out so good. So I think he's having trouble learning the difference between being a father and a mentor. That's honestly a really good plot point to tell in the next one, Beyond the Spider-Verse. But I can tell just based off of the last 20 minutes of Across the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse next year is going to go crazy. It's going to be a good movie. It's going to be a good movie. Not that Across the Spider-Verse wasn't a good movie, but it's going to go crazy next year. It's going to be so fucking good, and it's probably going to crush our hearts, but we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next. Indian Spider-Man, he didn't really do anything. Who else? The Rock. The Spider-Punk guy. Honestly, he was cool. I was really looking forward to him. And I can understand him sometimes, but there was most of the time I couldn't really understand what he was saying. I don't know. I feel like maybe the voice acting could have been a little bit better on everyone's part, actually, kind of. For the most part, everyone did a good job with their voice acting, but there's just some parts where it's like it just muffled. Like it just sounds like it's muffled, especially for Spider-Punk. For some reason, I just couldn't understand him. Sometimes I'm like, what did he just say? I don't understand what he just said. People are saying that Spider-Punk is gonna play a bigger role in Beyond the Spider-Verse, and that like Spider-Punk knows something about Miles Morales. But I didn't catch that both times I watched it. But I really can't wait to buy this movie on digital and get it on Blu-ray. Because this movie deserves a Blu-ray. And I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to add it to my collection. Because it deserves to be. But, I don't know. I like the movie. It's just... It feels like it was building up to nothing, kind of. It's building up to Beyond the Spider-Verse. But Across the Spider-Verse, it felt like it's building up to Beyond the Spider-Verse. But you can't show everything yet. Unless you want like a 3-hour movie. Which I wouldn't mind. Or a 4-hour movie. So I get it. I get it why it's a 2-part story. And it just feels like it was building, and it's not there yet. You know what I mean? So, the amount of Spider-Men in this was crazy. I wonder if Andrew and Tobey were somewhere in there. You know what I mean? But, more than likely not. But, this does show that now, I think, both Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse are canon, because they showed Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was in Spider-Man No Way Home, and Spider-Man No Way Home is MCU canon. And which, if Andrew and Tobey were in it, that makes their movies canon by extension. They're not canon, they're just canon by extension. I call that CBE, canon by extension. That's just how I've designated those other Marvel movies like X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. Those movies are canon by extension. So, I wonder if this movie is actually MCU canon. It probably is, to be honest. It probably is. Canon by extension until Miles comes into the MCU, the MCU. I wonder if they're going to use the actor that voices Miles Morales in this, or if they're going to get another actor to play the live-action Miles Morales. He's already been established in the MCU because Donald Glover's character in Homecoming mentioned him like twice. He even said his name in a deleted scene because I think he was trying to get to somewhere for Miles, and he was like, "Sorry, Miles, I'm not going to make it." But yeah. There's no end credit scenes. It just says Miles Morales will return in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which I'm actually happy they don't have any credit scenes. That makes me even more excited to see what's going to happen. I feel like this movie could have been a little bit more crazy, but I actually liked that it's not super crazy. It was crazy towards the end, but that's building up to Beyond the Spider-Verse. I actually liked it. It was a pretty solid movie. Um, for a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, this movie is actually pretty basic and pretty simple. You know, you start here, now you're here, now you're here, now you're here, and now it's done. So it's a pretty solid movie. If I had to give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this movie an 8. I feel like an 8 is pretty good because voice acting was a little choppy sometimes. I feel like the ending kind of, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. The ending it was good. It was a good cliffhanger. It makes me want more, but I'm like, oh come on, because I was getting so invested into it, and then it just ends. I'm just like, what? It was getting really interesting. Tell me a little bit more, but now it won't. So, because it's their movie. So, yeah. I mean, it was a pretty good movie. I can't deny it. It was a pretty good movie. I like that good movies are coming back now. Good movies are coming back. We're back in the era of good movies. So. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. That was my review, and catch you later.